Hi friends! Welcome to episode 98 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha and you can find me anywhere online as Nadira Tani. Thank you so much for coming to spend some time with me today. I do appreciate it. I'm coming to you as almost always from my home in Central Florida, and today is Wednesday, September 25th. Yeah, I just went through that intro like so smoothly. I better have, because this is the third time I've recorded it. But anyway, we will start out with some admin bits. I wanted to share a bunch of your comments from last week's episode. So if you watched last week's episode, you would know that one of the viewers of our podcast purchased one of the I Am Enuf bags from my suicide awareness update that I had a couple weeks ago. She purchased the bag and then decided to give it as a gift. So in order to let me know that you wanted to be entered with a chance to receive that gift, I asked that you would leave a comment down below telling me how you make today better. I chose that prompt because the suicide awareness bags I made with the desire to raise money for the organization To Write Love on Her Arms. I have been putting a link to their webpage down in the description bar, so if you haven't heard of them, definitely give it a click and check them out. It's a really inspiring organization. But anyway, You Make Today Better was their World Suicide Prevention Week theme. It was their theme for this year. So I wanted to know how you all make today better. So the gift entry is still open at this present time until Thursday. So until tomorrow is when I'm going to actually draw the person who's going to be getting this gift. But I did want to share with you guys some of the responses that I received for how you make today better. So what I'm going to do is I'm pulling up all of the comments from that video, and I'm just going to read the responses. I'm not going to read anybody's name or anything like that. I'm just going to read the responses so that we can see how the Quirky Monday Crafts family is making today better. Oh, and one thing while this is still trying to pull up and using, like, taking its merry little time, but one thing that I really liked was how you all interpreted the prompt. So some people responded on, like, as if they were having a bad day, how would they make the day better for themselves? Some people responded with what actions they take to make the day better for other people. So that was really nice to see the two viewpoints come through. So I was smiling just now because I got a new comment on that one, and that person's, the way they make today better, says, I make today better by offering a smile to all I come across throughout the day, and follow with a simple greeting, showing them that they are seen and I value their presence. I make today better by being the best person I can be. Be kind to the stranger in the store who is having a rough day. Being kind to myself and not putting myself down. That's a tough one for me. I find that being kind to myself is sometimes the harder thing to do. I find that it's always so much easier to be kind to someone else and to give someone else a break, and the benefit of the doubt, like, oh, well, maybe they're just being mean to me because they're having a bad day. But I don't give myself, or oftentimes I don't give myself, that same grace. So I think that's something that we can all do with a bit more, like showing ourselves a little bit more kindness. Be kind to yourself today. Scrolling, we're scrolling to find some more people doing good things and making today better for themselves and for others. I make today better by surprising my mom Oh, I made today better by surprising my mom with a new pair of knitted socks. She loved them. I make today better by focusing on others, which takes my mind off the chronic pain I have lived with for the past 7 years. Making other people's lives better, even in small ways, brings joy, and true joy uplifts everyone. I make today better by surviving however I need to. Usually that is naps and tea and telling myself that rest is resistance. I made today better by checking in with people around me to see how they're doing. I make today better by being there for my 6 kids and husband, showering them with all my love, teaching them it's okay to be themselves. To make someone's day better, my mantra is try kindness. Whatever the day may bring and however it may make me feel, I don't know what someone is going through, so I try kindness. Open a door, compliment a stranger. So many little things, just a stranger smiling at you can improve someone's day. So there it is, try kindness. I make today better for me by taking time out to recenter myself, usually by knitting or crocheting, haha. So I can be the best wife and mother I can be for my family, and the best friend I can be for my village. I make today better for my kids by letting them take the funnest, the funnest way to get to school. Bikes in sunshine and gumboots in the rain. So they start the day off on the right. They start the day off on the right footing, and knowing they are well loved. I make today better by providing encouragement to people I see when I'm out and about. I made today better by taking time just for my daughter and I. I love telling people that I love them and meaning it. I make today better by practicing self-care. For example, taking time out of the day to read or knit. I made today better by just saying okay. How I try to make things better is to keep moving forward for them being this individual's family. Make sure that they've eaten, make sure that their clothes are washed and clean and done each day. I make today better by crocheting a hat for someone who needs a hug today. I will make today better by working on my patience, something I do every day. I make today better by telling someone I care. How to make the day better is waking up in the morning and putting a smile on someone else's face. I make today better by breathing deeply, walking in nature, and knitting. I enjoy giving hugs to coworkers. I strive to make today better for every person I help at work for the ambulance service here in Southwest UK. How I make today better is by listening. Always lending an open ear to anybody and everybody, listening without judgment, and by helping my son through big emotions, which he is getting better at every day, and I'm so proud. I work in a shop, and even though most customers are rude and I'm going through tough personal times, I've decided to make the first move. I compliment as many customers as possible. I like your hair or jumper, etc. They walk away happy with a smile and less rude, and that makes both of our days better. I make today better by posting positive, encouraging, and hilarious memes on my Facebook page. We all need laughter, and you never know whose day you just made better by making them smile or laugh. I always tell people that they can overcome anything as long as they fight, and I will fight with them if need be. I make time to cuddle with my cats. I always have socks on my needles for the citizen of remote locations. Finding joy in the little things. I make today better because though I am going through some things that can truly cause a person to fall into depression and madness, I wake up every day and I give God thanks for another day, and I do all I have to do to ensure my needs and the needs of my children are taken care of. I hope to make today better by filling a gift bag for an elderly person who will be alone at Christmas. You guys hear those little feets? That's Miss Kiva. Hi, Kiva. What's up? You want to come sit on my lap? Come on. No? Okay. Let's see. I make today better by living the quote, if you see someone without a smile, give them yours. Specifically today, I am working on blankets to give families with new babies at the preschool I work at. So today, I'm making warmth and love for little ones. I make today better by waking up every day for my son. He pushes me to keep going. Because I hate cliffhangers, I need to survive and see his life in progress. I make today better by going to my Zen place. Knitting and crochet truly is my therapy. And also think about be still and know that I am God. I make my day better by starting with prayer. And if it starts to go downhill, my pick-me-up is to quote and reaffirm Philippians 4:8. Works every time. How to make today better for me is to have empathy. Another thing, daft I know, is litter picking. I make today better by making the people around me laugh. Bringing joy to others is my daily impact. I try to pay it forward by helping someone in need. I encourage loved ones to focus on the positive always. I make today better by just taking time to sit in a quiet place and just breathe. I encourage people who call to my work that they can create anything. How do I make today better? By being kind. Kind to myself, kind to those around me. I have to hope that that is enough. So that's all of the ways that people are making today better for themselves as well as for others. If you, like always, I always encourage you guys to read the comments down below, especially because I want you all to post good things that are happening, positive things, things that you're joyful about, so that the comment section of these videos can just be a bubble of goodness, because that is definitely something that is needed. Ow, Kiva, your little sharp nails. Hi, Pumpkin. That is definitely something that is needed. Oh, you don't want to stay up here where they can see you. You just want me to reach all the way down there to pet you instead of you coming up here to make it easier on me. Yeah? Oh, that's fine. I will make your today better by petting you. And she goes, yes. So yes, there's always good things happening down in the comment section. So take a moment and check it out. So now I'm going to jump forward to future Kalisha, who has the name of the person who is going to be receiving the I Am Enuf bag as a gift. Here she is. Hi friends, this is Kalisha from the future. It is actually 4:30 Friday morning and I have just finished editing, and I pulled the comment for the winner of the bag, and it is SHARI HEINZE. So I will put your name here on the screen. So if this is you, please send me a message. Send me an email to QUIRKYMONDAY@gmail.com. That will be in the down bar. So send me an email with your contact information so that I can send out your gift. Thank you so much for everybody who left comments on how they make today better. And yeah, that's everything. I'm going to put this clip in the video and then I'm going to sleep. And there she goes. So the next little bit of admin is just to remind you guys that the Bipoc make-along is still going. It's going until November 4th. I'll put the dates at the bottom because it's just slipped my mind. But the beginning of November. And this is a make-along that's being hosted by Elisabeth Desamour of Desamour Designs, as well as the Bipoc Makers Project. Its focus is to bring more eyes and hands onto the designs of, or to the work of designers who identify as Black, Indigenous, or person of color. So, yes, do post your items on Instagram using the hashtag BIPOCMAL 2019. You can also share your work in the Desamour Designs Facebook group. There will be a link to it down below, and the hashtag would have been on the screen. All you have to do to enter for the weekly prize drawings is to post your work of or work on a pattern that is designed by a Black Indigenous person of color. And I think that's it. That's everything. Speaking of the Bipoc Mal, my first half object, because we don't have any finished objects this week, but we do have a half object, is hanging out right here over my shoulder. This is my first sock of the Camp Hawthorne sock pattern. And it's on my little mannequin foot. I feel so fancy. So fancy. The only thing, which I did not think about this, when I purchased them, when they got here, and then not until I was like this much through this sock, was that my foot is considerably bigger than this. Well, like longer. I feel like this sock foot, this mannequin foot is probably, it's probably a good 1.5 to 2 inches shorter than my actual foot. So I tried one of my socks that fits me on here and it just looked terrible. So what I've decided to do is, since the reason I got these was for product photos for patterns, I'm going to make a lot of extra work for myself. I have knit this sock, the whole sock, 2 inches shorter than it would be for me. And then Kitchener the end of the toe and everything. I'm going to take the pictures and then I'm going to pick out the Kitchener stitch, unravel the toe, pick back up, and then knit the socks to my foot length. I feel like that's a lot to be doing, but I want the socks to look nice in the pictures. Okay. I know I could probably just like try to find another pair of mannequin feet that are actually the same size as me, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to pretend like I was thinking about doing that. That thought probably crossed my mind for exactly 3 seconds, and then I was like, nah, it's fine. So the Camp Hawthorne sock, it is a top-down pattern with a heel flap and gusset. This is just your regular slip stitch heel or heel flap. And then the patterning is a mock eyelet cable. So where it looks like there are cable stitches, there are not. So if you've never done a cable, that's perfectly fine. You'll be able to do this. The entire pattern is essentially knits, purls, and like slipping a stitch and passing it over. There you go. So very simple pattern. I really love it. My favorite thing about this is the cuff. Well, that's not my favorite thing, but I think it's pretty cool. Everything on the front of the cuff that is a knit stitch is a purl on the back. So when they're not on a leg, you can clearly see the difference. But when they're on and stretched out, you don't see that much difference in like the rhythm of the cuff. So that's it. That is my first Camp Hawthorne sock. I've got my stitch markers on here marking length and all that good stuff. And yeah, it's on here crooked. Be professional, Kalisha. Get it together. Ooh, I love it so much. And I think I'm loving it even more because it's on the foot. And I'm like, oh yes, look at those eyelets. You can see through them. Yay. Oh my gosh, I love these. I have another pair of these, like the very first one that I made. I have no idea where they are. I think I told you guys that story about losing the whole pair of socks. Someone in the comment section said that it was Dobby who was stealing all my hand knit socks, and he knows that he can't free his enslaved house elf people because like he can't do that. But if he leads the other house elves to where I have left a sock, it's kind of like I gave them a sock. I just want Dobby can do that with my commercial socks. I don't really care about these Walmart socks. That's fine. Don't free your people with my hand knits. That's all I got to say. So that is everything for the finished objects. I just have the one half object. So now we'll go into works in progress. So okay, I'm going to show you the one that I was working on earlier today because I'm really excited about it. I think in the last episode I mentioned how Lamar, my husband, had asked me, since I have Camp Hawthorne, which is one of the Adventist campgrounds down here, do I have a sock for Camp Kalakwa, which is another Adventist campground. I didn't, but now I do because I'm that kind of person. So where's my other foot? There it is. I'm going to put this one on, and I have literally only completed the cuff and 2 repeats of the sock pattern. And since they're both named after the campgrounds down here, I decided to use the same eyelet faux cable or eyelet mock cable stitch in here. You can only see a little bit. So this one has 6 mock cables running down the front of the foot, and I have staggered them so they'll be running in a very shallow V going down the foot like this. I really like it so far. I designed this one, well, when I was doing this originally, I just kind of like designed it on the needles as I was going and like made decisions and whatnot that way. This one I charted, and I charted it by hand, wrote out, like doodled out what I wanted it to look like, and then I went back and wrote written instructions to go with the charts. So I have charts for all 3 sizes that I'm going to be doing for both of these. There will be 56 stitches, 64, and 72 of Camp Hawthorne, and then 60, 64, and 72 of Camp Kalakwa. So yeah. So the cuff does the same thing with the Camp Kalakwa. So everything on the front that is a knit stitch, on the back is a purl stitch. And because I have like the knit ones and purl ones, you can really see the difference. But I think that's pretty cool. One of the things that I was trying to draw inspiration from with this Camp Kalakwa pattern was I was thinking about the different things that are at this particular campground. And while Camp Hawthorne is a very simple campground, there's like hardly any bells or whistles or anything like that. There's like a little lake, some buildings where you can like have your group meetings, stuff like that, cabins for people to stay in. That's about it. Camp Kalakwa, on the other hand, has kind of a river kind of area. I don't think it's a whole river. I think it's a spring. Who knows? But they have like canoeing and horseback riding, and there's a boardwalk that goes through this marshy kind of wooded area. And the boardwalk was what I was thinking about when I was kind of putting together how I wanted the mock cables to go. So the boardwalk like winds around the trees and through the marshy, swampy area a lot. So I definitely knew I didn't want all of the cables, the mock cables, to line up. So I wanted to have some motion in there. So that's kind of how I came up with this pattern. So you can't really see where it's going, but by next episode I will have a chunk of work done on here, so you'll be able to see it then. But this yarn is Knit Picks Stroll in the pea pod colorway. In the pea pod colorway. This yarn is Deborah Norville Serenity Sock in the sky blue colorway. And yeah, I'm just making my way with those. And since the construction of this is going to be exactly the same as Camp Hawthorne, the only difference will be the patterning on the front of the foot and the leg. So essentially, this one is all done. This one is to the same level of doneness as Camp Hawthorne's pattern. So I just need to finish the socks, take pictures of them, and then we'll be good to go. I'm very excited about that. Very proud of myself for pushing myself to actually get to that point with these patterns. The next work in progress I have is my vanilla sock. This is the sock that I am making out of the Lion Brand Mani Petty yarn in the Crew colorway. This is a colorway, and as you can see, there's a lot of progress that has taken place. That's the colorway. And, oh, there's my other little girl. And here is the sock. So this stitch marker, I think, is the last, actually no, I think the last time you guys saw it, it was maybe here. But from this stitch marker all the way to the end was my knitting in public work when my friend Tiffany and I went to Heavy and Light this past weekend, which I will talk about a little bit later. But yeah, that's it. Just a vanilla sock. The heel is again Deborah Norville Serenity sock in black. And yeah, I really like this kind of grungy rainbow kind of look that this yarn has. I have, of course, my second ball so I can make the second sock. And the only thing like special about these is they have little eyelets in that first row after the cuff. But that's it. Just round and round she goes. She'll only stop when she gets to the toes. That was lame. I'm sorry. Not sorry. And the last work in progress. Oops. And the last work in progress is bum-ba-dum, Grinchy Nelly. She is almost done. So this pattern is a mystery knit along. So here's your warning. Spoilers are afoot. But this past week, was it 2 clues that were released? I think so. 1 or 2 clues were released. And oh my gosh. When I finished the last clue that I did, I had to FaceTime my mother and squeal with delight on how this Grinchy gnome is looking. Because, baby, it is so stinking cute. Okay, so this is what Grinchy Nelly looks like right now. So you guys, you're used to seeing her little hat, her little pom-poms, her little red body. I don't know if she was stuffed the last time I showed her, but here she is now. Is this not the cutest little Grinchy gnome you have ever seen in your life? In all the live long days. All of them. Every day. Every live long day. So she's got her little arms. And she can put her hands in her little pocket. I can't handle it. And her little her Grinchy nose. This is just too much. This is just too much. So this pattern is Oh Gnome You Didn't. It is a pattern by Imagine Landscapes, who is Sarah Skira. And I just love this so much. I love this so much that I already had a little photo shoot for Grinchy Nelly. And I used this ornament of sweaters. So she was posed next to it with her little hand on top of the sweaters. like this. And I also made, because she's the Grinch, I also made a tiny little present for her to steal. I can't handle it. Oh my gosh. I had way too much fun with that tiny little photo shoot when I did this. I'm going to try to put the pictures in on here so that you also can squeal with delight. So her arms are I-cords. I started with the green because the pattern said that this was going to be her arms. So the green would have been up here. And then I realized, no, I should start with the red and then do a little bit of the white and then the green. So it looks like she's got long sleeves, like long Santa hand sleeves. So that's what I did. My joining color, or my joining for the I-cord isn't the best, but this is like the second I-cord that I've ever done. The first one is right here. So I think that's pretty good for a beginner. The nose, I think, was the most fiddly part so far of the whole pattern. And that's just because it was so tiny. And I didn't do this on double pointed needles. I did all of this on magic loop. So that was kind of a hassle. But I powered through. I really like how you can see the different shades of green in that yarn. And yeah, I decided I wanted to be fancy and stuff her with lavender because I was like, oh, it'll be so nice. You'll be able to smell it. It'll be great. I can't smell it at all. So most of her body is stuffed with like polyfill, the cotton stuff that you stuff toys with. And then at the bottom, I have a little mesh bag or like a little organza bag. And I put rice and lavender, like dried lavender in it. You can't smell nan piece of lavender, but that's fine. So yeah. I feel like I overstuffed her. I'm not sure, but I'm digging her so much. This is so cute. This is so unbelievably cute. Like, she's going to be everywhere come Christmas. She might end up in somebody's Christmas pictures because I might take her to the studio with me. But yeah, so there's one more clue that's set to come out tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is when I finish that clue and I take a picture of the completed Grinchy Nelly, I will insert a picture of it here so that you guys can see what she looks like, because not posting pictures of Grinchy Nelly on Instagram at this point before I recorded was torture. I wanted it to be a surprise for you guys. And me and surprises, me and keeping secret surprises, we just do not mix very well because I get too excited. But I'm going to go post her on the internet. Oh no, I can't post her until Friday because you guys won't see this until Friday. Ugh. But yes, that is everything for my works in progress. So the next section that I have for you guys today is maker plans. I don't have anything to show you because I just want to tell y'all about yourselves. So last episode, I showed this super chunky knit sweater, like cardigan, with these big sleeves with baubles on it that I had seen on one of the episodes of the Sorry Girls. And I was saying how I wanted to make this sweater, and I was looking at it. I took like a bazillion screenshots of their video that I was watching. And you guys are pretty rad because one person, I believe, actually found the pattern of that sweater. Like, I looked at the details and everything, and it looks exactly the same. Another person found a pullover version of that sweater for adults and children. Someone else found another version of the sweater as a cardigan. I think it was a different one. And someone found me a crochet version of that sweater. So I'm gonna have to use the powers of the Quirky Monday fam more often. Like, whenever I'm trying to find something, I'll just throw it out to you guys because obviously you're better than Google. So thanks, guys. I don't know if I'm going to make the sweater from one of those patterns or if I want to try to like create it myself. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But if you sent me a message about that oversized bobble sweater, please know that when I looked at them, I was just shocked and in awe and just amazed. You guys are pretty cool. You are. Okay, so the next thing is stash positions, which I only have 2 things to show you guys, and neither one of them are particularly fibery. Neither one of them are fibery at all. So the first one that I want to show you is actually this coloring book that I got. This coloring book is by the artist Johnny the Artist. He is John T. Moore, and he's from Huntsville, Alabama, which is where I used to live before I moved to Florida. This book is called For Coloring Girls Who Have Considered Living When They Are Enough. And that title is a play off of the author called it a choreo poem, I believe. And the poem, or the piece of work, is by Ntozake Shange. I will put her name at the bottom of the screen, but the piece in itself is written from the perspectives of various Black girls, and the title of the piece is For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. And when I first heard of that piece, I was like, okay, what's this about? And so I picked up the book. I don't know where it is. It's in one of my boxes of books in storage. But the very first piece in that book just really grabbed me. And I think it's also been made into a movie. I'll have to fact check myself. But that title is very iconic. And I actually have another book. Let me grab it. I'm coming back to the coloring book. 1 second. Okay, I have this other book. I printed it on a black and white printer. It's one of the ones that you can purchase online. This book is by Jazerai Allen, and it's called For Creative Souls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Art Wasn't Enough. And this is this is what it looks like. This is an interactive book of like exploration book journal kind of thing with prompts and things for you to go through your creative thought processes and addressing a lot of personal feelings that you may have. The author of this one matter of fact, let me just read you the beginning, the first page in her book. It says, "One day I found myself alone, and then I threw up my hands, fell on the floor, reached for God, found a pen, and wrote this interactive book. I hope it inspires you to do something too." And there's prompts on each page. I will put a link to her because I haven't written in it because I'm the kind of person that doesn't like writing in their books. Even though I could definitely print this again. So yeah, there's lots of thoughtful prompts. There's talk about fear, write about what you're afraid of. There's a lot of her poetry. It's just a really cool book. Like spaces that you're just meant to create in. It just says create here. You can't be in control of your life. Name 3 areas of your life that need stretching. Just different prompts like that. So there's this one. I only bring that up because the titles are both inspired by the piece by Ntozake Shange. So yes, I will link that if you're interested. But back to the coloring book. When I first saw this, I was really excited about it because I'm always looking for myself in different areas and things, right? I'm always looking for that representation. And whenever I see it, it makes me very happy inside. There's something really special about seeing yourself represented in different areas and different spaces. So when I went to this person's, the way that I found this artist was I was scrolling on Instagram, and one of my college friends had taken a selfie in front of a mural that this artist had painted, and he had painted the mural and she was the main subject in it. And I looked at the work and I was like, I really recognize that style. So I went to his page and I went to his website, and sure enough, I have already purchased a piece from him. And I purchased this years ago, before I left Huntsville, when I was still like active in the poetry scene. And he was vending at one of the shows I had gone to, and I purchased this piece. And this piece is called The Lion and the Lamb. And they're just so cute. Look at their little faces. So I realized that it was this artist because he has this on his website as well. So I said, oh my goodness, I know this guy. I know his work. I'm really excited about that. So I marked off there's four. I marked off 4 of the pages in here that I wanted to show you, like the pieces that were really captivating for me. So first, there's this one. And this one caught my eye because of the semicolon. And the semicolon is one of those images that are used for someone who has survived and who has kept living. And it basically means your story could have stopped, but it didn't. And there's more to your story. So I really liked that piece. Then there was this one, which is called The Artist, which of course, I love that. The only thing that would have put that one over the top is if there had been like a ball of yarn. I'm telling you, man. Then there was this one, which is called Transformata 2. I just thought it was beautiful. And lastly, this one, which is called Here I Stand. And there's a quote that goes with this one by Maya Angelou. And it says, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Don't complain. So this is the piece that goes with that one. And I really liked the quote that was with this one about if you don't like something, then change it. But if you can't change it, change your attitude. And don't complain about it. Because it's very much like, if you're in a situation or you're a part of something and you don't like how it's going, then you have the power to make changes within the area around you, within your realm of reach and action and voice. You can make changes. And then if it's something that is outside of your ability to change, then the only thing that you can change to make the situation better would be your attitude towards that thing. And either changing the thing or changing your attitude is an action that can produce a better state of being for you. And as opposed to just complaining that there is something that you don't like, right? And I see a lot of times people will complain about something needs to change or something that they don't like or anything like that. They'll just complain about it, but they never put forth the effort or the energy or the intention to make that thing better for themselves as well as for other people. So I really like that quote because it was kind of one of those things that I want to carry within myself to be an agent for change, whether it is a change that I can make in the world around me or if it's a change that I can make with the world within me. So I'm also that person that does not like coloring on pages like this, on like artwork like this. So I'm probably going to copy the book, like photocopy it, and then color on my photocopies. So lame. I know. I don't care. So that was the first stash position I wanted to share with you. The next stash position goes into my life and whatnot section. I mentioned earlier when I was talking about the vanilla socks that my friend Tiffany and I went to Heavy and Light, which is a program put on by To Write Love on Her Arms. And it's basically, let me actually read you what they call it. Hello? Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. It's behind the foot. Okay, so To Write Love on Her Arms has a program every year called Heavy and Light, and it is an evening of songs, conversation, and hope. And these are the people who were headlining. And it was a really, really great experience. So I got technically three things. So the first thing I got is this bandana that says Hope is Real. And I can't decide what I want to do with it. Part of me wants to make it into a project bag. The other part of me just wants to keep it intact. We'll see. It's going to live right here on my shelf for a little bit. But I feel like this is a message that I would want to carry around with me a lot so that other people can see it. Like, be a walking billboard for hope. The second thing that I got is actually a couple prints. Now, these prints are by Morgan Harper Nichols, and she is an illustrator, a singer, an omnitecton to the highest level. This is a person who does all kinds of things. And when I was at the merch table at Heavy and Light, I was looking at this bandana, and then I was kind of like looking down the row, and I saw these prints. And the first one grabbed me because of what it said. The second one, well, both of them grabbed me because of what they said. But it wasn't until I got to the second one that I realized I recognized her style. And the reason that I recognized her style is because Hannah of the Cozy Cottage Crochet shares a lot of this artist's work. And so I recognized like the style, the illustration style, the color choices, and it just looked really familiar. And then I saw her signature at the bottom of the pieces, and I was like, I know this person. So if I was on the fence, which I wasn't, for getting some of these, that pushed me over. So this is the piece that actually grabbed my eye to begin with. It says, beautiful things take time. And this statement I felt was specifically for me, because there are things that I'm really wanting in life that are just not happening yet. And I want to rush these things and be like, I want them now. I want it now. Like, let's make this happen now. But I have to realize that beautiful things take time, and I have to find that peace and joy in the waiting for that beautiful thing, or for those beautiful things in life that I'm wanting. But I saw this and I was like, obviously I have to buy it. It's for me, obviously. The second one says, tell the story of the mountains you climbed. Your words could become a page in someone else's survival guide. And this one is just a super simple print. I really, really like this one because this is how I think about my own experiences with anxiety and depression and things like that. And I feel like whenever I talk about how I'm feeling and how it feels to climb those mountains and to like work through the things, and then sometimes how it feels to just be sitting and looking at the mountain like, I'm not climbing that. It's not happening. But whenever we talk about these things, whenever we talk about our experiences with mental health as well as anything else in life, telling our stories and giving our testimonies can definitely give other people the tools and the motivation and the knowledge that yes, they too can climb that mountain, you know? And it actually reminded me of a time when I was in college. My sophomore and junior year were my trip through depression land. So much so that I don't really have a lot of memory of those times, of those years. And I think it was my senior year, after, you know, I had come back to myself. One of the other members of the poetry group that I was a part of, we were in a conversation and we were talking about some things, and she told me that seeing me go through my struggles with depression and seeing that I kept showing up and that I didn't basically give up was so inspirational to her. And she thought about those things whenever she was having her dark time. She would think about how, you know, well, Kalisha kept fighting, so I can keep fighting too. And whenever I think about that, y'all, that is such a heavy thing for somebody to say to you, that seeing you in your struggle is what pushed them towards their light. And y'all, so when I saw this about, you know, your words could become the page in someone else's survival guide, that is so true. So this is an encouragement for you as well, to tell and talk about your mountains, and the mountains that you've climbed, and the mountains that you are climbing, and the mountains that are looming in the distance, the mountains that surround you, the mountain that you are standing on top of doing your own amazing dance. Like, talk about those mountains, because your story is not just for you, you know? Your story is for somebody to say, I can live through this too. So let me step down off that soapbox again. Y'all gonna have to just take my soapbox. Like, I'm gonna have to put my soapbox in storage and lock it up, because I've been getting up on that soapbox, guys. Thank you. So yes, I need to frame those and find a nice place for them to be. I also got, where's my finger? This is a quote by the poet Anis Mojgani, who was one of the headliners one of the people who got up to share during Heavy and Light. And it says, "It is possible to be wild and kind at the same time. It is possible to be both alone and be loved. I have known this to be true, in others, in me, to be loved and to also still be alone." And when I read this, I liked it, because I was like, yeah, you know, even though you're alone, you can still be loved, and it's still okay. And then later on, when I was thinking about it, I was like, this is kind of a call to open your eyes, right? Because sometimes when we have friends or family members who talk about, you know, oh, I feel alone, or I feel this way, I feel that way, sometimes it's easy to be like, but you've got so many people around you. You've got all these friends. You've got all this family. You know, you're not alone. You're loved. But it's still, you're still able to be both things. And acknowledging that, I think, gives us as friends and supporters it will give us a perspective, you know, to say, yes, I know that my friend is loved, and I'm sure my friend knows that they're loved, but they feel alone. So even though I know that my love for them exists, I still need to be a physical representation of that love, right? I still need to be there for this person. I still need to reach out to this person and check on them and not just take for granted that they know that they're loved. If that makes sense, right? So I got that. And I just, whenever we go on to Heavy and Light, and Tiffany and I have gone the last 3 years, I always leave feeling so inspired and so okay, you know? It's very easy to kind of get in the mindset that nobody sees you or nobody knows what your struggle is, or no one understands what it's like having your particular struggle. And while that is true to a point, nobody can understand exactly what you are feeling because we are so vastly different. But at the same time, there is someone who understands at a base level what it is that we're going through at any particular time. And that's one thing that I love about being actually in the space during Heavy and Light. You can look around and you see people that either know someone, are close to someone, are that person themselves that know what it feels like to deal with anxiety or depression or self-harm or any of these things. And it's beautiful to see all of the people together like that, but it's also even more, vastly more beautiful to see all these people smiling and laughing and singing along with the musical artists and dancing and feeling that joy in that space, where you know that underneath all of that joy, all of these people are having their own different struggles and things, but are still able to feel that joy. And that is another encouragement for me. Like, even when I'm having a bad day or having a bad run of days or just feeling really anxious or any of these things that are just like that negative energy, I know that I can still feel joy in it, right? I may not feel joy right now. You know, I may not feel joy when I'm in the midst of that storm, but I know that joy is going to come. It's going to come back. It's going to. Everything that swings down can swing back up. There was another thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Jamie Torkowski, who is one of the leaders, starters, initiators of To Write Love on Her Arms, got up and was speaking about how, well, he was comparing your mental health struggle with like a hurricane, because, you know, Hurricane Dorian just came down here and was doing all kinds of foolishness. But he was saying that when there's a hurricane coming, we all watch the news. We listen to the people who know about hurricanes. We ask the people who know about hurricanes, what should I do to prepare for this storm that's coming? We take their advice. We get our supplies. We board up our houses to prepare for it. We put out sandbags to keep our homes safe. We do all of these things because someone has told us and because we know that the storm is coming. And when the storm comes and passes, we're checking on each other. Hey, are you okay? How did you weather the storm? Do you need anything? Can I help you with anything? And then back to before the storm comes, communities are getting together and helping each other. Do you have enough water? Do you have sandbags? Do you need help evacuating? Is there something that I can do to help you prepare for this storm? And all of this is completely normal. But he said, when it comes to mental health, if we treated our mental health like a storm, how much more prepared for the ebbs and flows, the highs and lows that happen, how much more prepared would we be, right? If we felt that storm coming. And if you're anything like me, I can always feel a downswing coming. Like I'll be all good, and then it's just kind of like there's a shift. And similar to the way the air feels before a thunderstorm, there's a shift in the air. It's slight, but it's there, right? And how much better would our experiences be with dealing with our mental health how much better would our experiences in dealing with our mental health be if, when we felt that shift, we could go to, or we could reach out to the people who know, to a counselor or a person that you trust, or someone that you can go to with these feelings and say, hey, I feel like a storm is coming. What do I need to do? What supplies do I need to get? What are the things that I can do to help myself get through this storm? Or is there a way that I can evacuate and completely avoid this storm, in its totality? And then as we are going through that storm, when that storm hits us, if there are people who will reach out to us and say, hey, I know that storm is coming. I know that storm is here. What can I do to help you through it? How can I help you be safe in this storm? And just checking in on each other like we do during a hurricane. And then after that storm passes, what can I do to help you rebuild? What can I do to help replenish whatever it was that the storm took or that the storm destroyed, right? And when he was saying this, I was just completely engrossed in that analogy, right? And looking at it and I do call my ups and downs and all those things, I do feel like there's storms within me, right? And just hearing that out loud was definitely a highlight of going to that program. The second highlight was during Heavy and Light, they always have a couple counselors come out to talk to the audience, let them know where they can go to find help, where the resources are and things like that. And one of the things that one of the counselors said was, your experiences do not qualify or disqualify you when it comes to your mental health. And y'all, when he said that, I felt like he was looking at me. I felt I felt seen, oh, okay, all right, okay, that's me. Because a lot of times I feel like my ups and downs, the struggles that I have they don't qualify because I have not been professionally diagnosed with anything. I have not been categorized in that way. And it makes me feel okay, Kalisha, are you really feeling as anxious as you think you are? And then I realized that that's anxious Kalisha asking me these stupid questions. But when he said that, when he was really leaning on that point that because you haven't struggled as much as the next person, that doesn't disqualify your story. Because you haven't walked the same mental health path as this person, that doesn't mean that your walk is any less important or any less deserving of the help that you actually need, right? It doesn't mean that your experiences are less valid than the person next to you. And I really appreciated that because, like I said, I do feel like that a lot. And it was good for me to hear. So I am so glad that To Write Love on Her Arms puts on this program, and that they make available the tools that individuals need in order to get back to being their best selves and to get through these storms and to learn how to be safe when we encounter these mental health storms. So I think as of right now, the Heavy and Light stream, they streamed it online. The Heavy and Light stream is still up on their channel. So I'm going to link it, and hopefully you'll still be able to view it because it was an amazing program. I'm so glad that they are local to me so that I have the opportunity to attend it. And yeah, so I had some other things written down for life and whatnot, but we'll just scoot those to the next episode because I don't want to talk your ear all the way off, just partly off, but not all the way, just a little bit. But yes, thank you again so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of my universe. I hope that you have a wonderful day, week, month, year. And if it hasn't been that great, just keep pressing forth, or as the bag says, keep moving forward. I hope you find joy in the small things. Leave a comment down below of a small thing that brought you joy. That's it for today, guys. Bye.